right, welcome back to day 5 of 100 Days to Profitability. So today on the charts, we took two trades and they were both losses. So let's go ahead and just dive right into them and talk about why we took them and what we could have done better. So on the left side of my screen, I've got NASDAQ, and on the right side, I've got the S&P 500. Let me go ahead and just clear everything, and then we will jump into the two trades that we took. So this morning, oops, let me turn this one on. Okay, so this green section here is the New York AM session. And we can see on NASDAQ that we had the London session here, an Asian session here. And on ES, here's what it looked like. Pretty much the same thing. The only difference is that ES actually got a lot closer to taking out these Asian lows. However, we never did. So this is the first trade that I took this morning. I actually woke up late this morning. My alarm didn't go off, which happens like once every 6 months, and it's really annoying. And or maybe I just turned it off in my sleep. I have no idea. But I woke up late, and I woke up about 30 minutes after market had opened. So about this time is when we were about to take out Asian lows on ES right here. And I noticed that we had just swept previous day highs, and not only that, but we also put in a giant SMT divergence on the high time frame. It looked like this. Let me go ahead and mark this out. Yeah, so there's that. So we took out previous day London and Asian highs on NASDAQ, actually from 2 days ago. But we never took them out on ES. So we put in a high time frame bearish SMT divergence, which I really liked. And because of all that, and the fact that when market opened, we displaced to the upside like this, but we didn't fully go out and take London highs, which means we want to keep going down. So I thought the draw on liquidity was Asian lows. So this is the first trade that I took. I don't remember exactly the time that I took it, but I noticed this little 1 minute gap form to the upside, and then we came back down and inversed it pretty quickly. However, because I woke up late, I literally just hopped right onto my phone and I took a late entry. So my entry was like this, with a big stop loss, and my take profit was just these Asian lows. So yes, that is a horrible risk to reward ratio, terrible RR, but I only took this on my eval. I would never take this type of trade on my funded. That's not like an A plus setup. It's more like a B plus or even less than that. But I took this on my eval thinking I was just so sure we were going to come down and take out these Asian lows. But as you can see, we got literally like 2 points, 3 points away from it, and we just went straight up and we just wrecked these London highs. So this was a good learning lesson for me. This type of trade I have done in the past, and I will say I personally think it has a really high win rate, but it's not a good trade because once it goes into drawdown, once it starts losing, you don't know where it's going to stop. There's no good spot to put a stop loss. And if we want to be a good day trader, like, you need to just, everything is pretty much based on your stop loss. You need to know exactly how big it is, how much you're going to risk, depending how big it is, and all this stuff. So, and I woke up way late, and yes, I thought the market was going to go down. This is one of the few times it never sweeps the lows when it gets so close. It happens. And so, anyways, after that, I was just like, you know what, whatever. Let's just wait and get a little bit more awake. I literally like got down and did some push-ups to kind of wake myself up. But other than that, after that, I came up here, and after, you can notice once we just went straight up, we swept these London highs. So we swept the London highs overnight, and I was still very set on shorts. I thought that it was still going to come down and take out the Asian lows after we swept out these the London highs. So went up, swept them, and I thought we were going to come down. We still might, right? It's still going down. But what happened was, during this in this first little V-shaped recovery right here, as soon as we swept those highs, those London highs, I really liked that V-shaped recovery and I got in a trade like right here pretty early. And I wasn't obviously going to take this trade right here. That's ridiculous. That's like a 1 to 10 RR. I've never taken a trade that big. What I wanted to do was target this little low right here, this little internal liquidity. And it also happened to align perfectly with, if I can find it, here it is. It also happened to be a 15-minute fair value gap. So there was a possibility that if price ended up retracing back into that 15-minute fair value gap after we entered the trade, there's a possibility that it might use that fair value gap, respect it, and continue higher. So that's why all I wanted to do was, instead of taking this big trade, I just wanted to take kind of a shorter trade. And this was my trade setup right here. And as we can see, after a few minutes, I lost. And this one I also took on my eval. So I took two trades on my eval. That first one that I just showed you, then this one. So two L's. And then on my funded account, I just took this one. And on my funded, I only lost like 150 bucks. I risked like basically nothing. I usually risk like $300 to $400 per trade. But I was just like, you know what? This isn't the craziest of best setups, so we'll just risk a little bit. On my eval, I usually, if you guys know, I like to be a little bit more aggressive on evals, meaning I just risk more money so that I can try and pass them quicker. But today, I don't think these were probably the best A plus setups. This second one here might have been closer to a good setup, like an A minus, maybe B plus, but it wasn't perfect. Yes, there's a little 15-minute gap here, but this isn't the craziest draw in liquidity. Like it's nothing crazy. And so, anyways, I think that one of the most important lessons that I can learn from today is I actually want to go and write it in my notes. I have a note folder where I write down all my trading rules. And in that note folder, I like to go and add a rule every time I make some silly mistake. So today, right after this video, I'm going to go in and I'm going to add a rule, and it's going to say something like, don't trade, like wait 15 minutes after you wake up in the morning. Because for me, I'm in Mountain Standard Time and the market opens at 7:30 in the morning, so it's a little bit earlier. And I try my best to be as awake as possible. So some days, most days, I actually go to the gym before that. So I'll go to the gym at like 6 in the morning, and then I get home in time for the market to open, and I'm wide awake by then. But today, I obviously slept in a little bit. My alarm didn't go off, and so I'm not blaming this on me sleeping in, but I do think that first trade was not the best trade. I felt FOMO as soon as I woke up, tried to hop in this little short right here towards these Asian lows. Terrible RR, and I paid the price. So it happens, and I think the best thing that we can do is take responsibility for that silly mistake and just not do it again, right? I've taken trades like this in the past just on evals, and they have won. And I think it's really, really bad when you break your rules and you get rewarded for it, because that kind of trains you to want to do it again and again and again, and it gets easier to do it again and again and again. So that's something that I'm going to take from today is just make sure you're awake, make sure you're alert, aware, get some food in your system, go drink a glass of water or something. I don't know. I literally just did a couple push-ups in my room between trades, and that was still not good enough. I still think this second trade was okay. I'm not mad that I took this one, but this first one was a little rough. So just a good learning lesson. Today we had two losses. It's officially day 5 of 100 days to profitability. We are on one Apex eval and one Apex funded account currently. So we will see how we go throughout the rest of this week. I think we're doing pretty good so far. Today was a little iffy, but you got to know when to step off the charts after these losses. I didn't want to try and chase anything, so I just accepted a red day, a negative day, and I told myself, you know what, the market will open at the same time again tomorrow. So we will just go to school. I go to college, and I just went to class and didn't worry about it for the rest of the day. And it is what it is. So There's just a quick recap of today, day 5 of 100 days to profitability. And I will catch you guys in the next one. Peace.